Hi, Apache Spark feels complicated. Enter one simple idea clicks. In this video, I will help you build that mental model so Spark finally makes sense. And we will do that with a little story. Imagine you have a dataset that works perfectly fine on your laptop. Everything is fast, everything is simple. Then one day, the data grows, and suddenly, nothing works anymore. This is the story of why Apache Spark exists and how it actually works. So let's start simple. You have some input data, you send it to one machine, and the machine processes everything and give you results. Simple, clean, efficient. As long as the data fits on a single machine, life is good. But what happens when the data keeps growing? You have more rows, more files, more complexity. So the machine starts to struggle. Memory fills up and CPU is overloaded. And at some point, one machine is simply not enough. An obvious solution to that is vertical scaling. You add more CPU, you add more RAM, and the machine gets bigger and bigger. But there is an issue in this approach. What if data keeps growing? There is a hard limit. You can't scale forever on a single machine. So the real question is not how do I make one machine stronger? The real question is, what if I could use many machines instead of one? And Spark does exactly that. This is what we call horizontal scaling. So Spark distributes the work across a cluster of machines. Each machine handles part of the data, and together they process massive datasets efficiently. So Spark is a distributed computing engine. He distributes the work across multiple machines. And to do that, Spark needs two main components: the driver and the executors. Let's start with the driver. The driver is like an orchestra conductor. You can think of it as the brain of your Spark application. So the driver himself doesn't really run your code. He analyzes your code, creates an execution plan, and decides what needs to be done. It doesn't process the data, he coordinates the work. So you can think of it as a manager. He decides what are the tasks that need to be done, what should each one of the team do, and he assigns the task to each member of the group. And the executors are the workers of Spark. The actual work is done by those executors. So they receive tasks from the driver, they process data in parallel, and store intermediate results if needed. When they are done, they send the results back to the driver. So let us have a look at all of that at a high level. So Spark works like this. Imagine you have an input dataset that contains numbers from 1 to 9. And imagine you want to do a very basic operation. You want to calculate the sum of those numbers. What will happen is that the driver will read your code, design an execution plan, and what he will do, he will divide your input dataset into partitions, and he will assign those partitions to executors. So as you can see here, we have 3 executors. So Spark will divide the input dataset into 3 partitions. He will assign each partition to one executor, and each executor will work on this partition. So the first executor will calculate the sum on his partition and he will send it back to the driver. The second one will calculate the sum on his partition and send it back to the driver. And same for the third executor. And what the driver will do at the end, he will just aggregate the results that he got from the different executors so that he can get the final output for you. So the driver orchestrates the whole process from start to finish, and then the executors run in parallel across multiple machines. So let's summarize what you have just learned. Apache Spark is a distributed process engine. The driver is the brain that plans and coordinates execution. Executors are the workers that process data in parallel. A cluster is a group of machines that works together, and a partition is how Spark splits data to enable parallelism. So once you understand this mental model, Spark stops being confusing for you and starts making sense. So I hope it was very clear for you. If this video helped you, feel free to like it and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow up. And I will see you in the next one.